There we go. Hopefully that got everything through customs the right way. All right. Yo, what's going on with y'all, man? Nico TV, Voice of the West. I'm here. Impromptu live. I know this wasn't scheduled. This wasn't something that anybody probably was thinking was going to happen, but I had a lot of stuff that I had on my mind, a lot of stuff that I wanted to unpack. And I thought, you know what? Given that I have the time, what better way to pass some of the time that I have? So we're going to be here. We're going to cook up on this. So, variety of topics. Y'all can see, man, in the description, man. Y'all see, is spaces doing more harm in the West than good? Is spaces doing more harm than good? We're going to get into everything spaces related, what I am actually referring to. I know some of you astronauts are already up in arms. Hold it down. Let your boy cook up first and get there first. Ray May, what's good with you, man? I see you in here. What's good? Shit. There we go. All right, so to make it visible for me, man. There we go. All right. But yeah, you see that right there. Old West versus New West. Active list. I do have a list created uh just to kind of get some of those conversations that we're having and not having, just to kind of get rid of some of that. You know what I'm saying? No, that's a fact. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there for sure. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Definitely 100 to that for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cook up for a second, man. I do have the radio show tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a variety of topics to talk about by that time. He says horrible. Yeah, again, I don't know if it's gonna be. I know the title probably is shock value to some people, but I don't know if it's gonna be uh as contentious as some of y'all might think this is going to be of a live. I don't think it's going to be in that vein. I don't think it's going to be in that vein, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it, man. So first things first, let's discuss where this topic is even coming from. So on Thursday, we pulled up to Sunsets on the West. Shout out to Luck E. He's been very consistent the last few months in spaces every Thursday, having an all West space where everybody is able to pull up. The boss, what's good with you, man? What's good? Congrats on your win, man. I heard you did good work, man. Congrats to you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we were in the spaces, we were having a dialogue about the West. And as these things go, the dialogue kind of went into stuff that wasn't even dialogue anymore. It kind of went in the direction of people being in their feelings, people being mad. Some people were like, "Hey, why is this person even having a right to talk?" You said, at the end of the day, out online. Yeah, yeah, that definitely a good. I'm gonna get to that. Definitely a good promotional tool. I agree for sure. Definitely good for promo. But I think and you know what, y'all could correct me if I'm wrong at all. If I say anything that is wrong, that is not you know accurate, correct me please. Um, but for me personally, I think that live, for me personally, just for me personally, I feel like that live, and I had to ask the question. A part of me felt like it was doing more harm than good, right? At a certain point in time, I was thinking to myself, damn, am I actually doing good by even being in here and having this type of dialogue here, bringing up these things, going at it with other members of the West, regardless of tier? Is it a good look that, it's almost like you're waiting for the other side? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Doc. He was in there. Are you waiting for these other people who have names that are from the East or the Midwest or the South? Are we waiting on their validation to say what we are doing is accurate, what we are saying is true? Or do we still have say so? And should we be having that type of dialogue with any of them people? Should it even be for them? So that's what I'm here about to discuss. And I wrote down a few questions. I really, honestly, truthfully, I probably should have went back and listened to the entirety of the live, but I heard what I needed to hear in the point of where we were having the actual dialogue between me and Leak. And a little bit before that, when Dapper Zay was in there, Dev was in there, Doc. I listened to that portion of when I pulled up to make sure I understood what was being said. I understood what was being put out there. And so I have some opinions that are like that. So I just have some questions, right? And I get if I would have had more time, because I didn't want to carry this over to another week. I didn't want to wait a month to have this type of dialogue, and we could always double back. Yo, what up? What up? What up? Appreciate it. Salute. Hey, if y'all in here, and you haven't hit the like, hit the like. The algorithm will help your boy get the message out there, man. This is all West. We talking West business right now. Appreciate y'all putting up and support. You know what I'm saying? But just a few questions, 5 questions. I put 5 questions out there, 5 of them that I thought were questions that would cover most of the ground that I'm trying to cover in this particular live, right? And there are more questions that need to be asked and answered. So we can do a follow up if somebody's like, hey, Nico, I'd like to pull up, interview, or you know what I'm saying, have a whole panel. I'm up for that. I'm good with that. This is just me having my own space to go ahead and talk some to y'all. All right. Question number 1. The first question I wrote down is, should we, meaning the West members of the West, people who are at a high level in the West, whether that be league owners, whether that be battle rappers, whether that be sponsors, or you know what I'm saying, new people. There's a lot of new people that are on space. Should we, as the West, the conglomerate that makes up the Western Conference, should we be discussing West business in front of the masses on spaces? So that question, we're going to break that down. Should we, as the West members, be discussing West business on spaces? That's the first question we're going to get to. Question number 2 is, how is spaces best used for West progress? How is the spaces to be used? Because I do see that spaces is a tool that can be utilized and can further a lot of things that we're trying to do here, right? But how is it best used? You know what I'm saying? How is it best used for the progress of the Western Conference? Question number 3 is the West too dependent on the other side, Midwest, South, East Coast, everything that's not West? Are we becoming too dependent as the West on the other side for battles and relevance? Are we becoming too dependent as a region on the other sides of the map for our battles and our relevance? Another way to put that is, can we still create our own relevance and make our own battles mean something without having to have the other side validate, battle us, or approve of battles for us? Or should we just be able to do our own? That's question number 3. Question number 4. What is the appropriate balance of West versus West and West versus everybody else, Midwest, South, East Coast? What is the appropriate balance? Should it weigh more heavily that we have West versus West and that percentile is higher West versus West? Should the higher percentile be there? Should it be dead even? What is the appropriate balance for West versus West and West versus everybody else? That's question number 4. We're going to get into that. And question number 5. And I highlighted this question because it wasn't just me asking it. There were a lot of people who asked this question. Yo, what up? What up? What up? Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you pulling up. Number 5, the last question I asked. Who is qualified? Here, who is qualified to be talking West business to the other side? The second half of that question is, who's qualified to talk West business at all? but specifically, who is qualified to have those type of conversations of the highest importance to our region with members from the other side of Essence? Who are our representatives? What is our representation? Who should be our representation when these conversations are happening on Twitter Spaces? Who should be the people who are having a dialogue, and who are the people who should not be on the mic at all? Pause if needed. Who should be a listener when those conversations are being had? Who are the people who should not have an opinion? Rather, they should just ask questions. That's the last question. There are more questions to be asked, but for me, I felt like that was a good starting point. I thought that was a good starting point for this live. Those 5 questions by themselves. Should we be discussing West business in front of the masses on Spaces? How is Spaces best used for West progress? Is the West too dependent on the other side for battles and relevance? What is the appropriate balance of West versus West and West versus everybody else? And last, who is qualified to talk West business to the other side, and who is qualified to talk West business at all? So those are the 5 questions, right? And again, if y'all have any questions that y'all want to drop in the chat, if y'all have any questions for me, anything that I don't say, y'all want clarity or you just want my opinion on it, drop it in the chat. This is interactive. I'm reading the chat. We interactive here. So anything that y'all want to hear, I'm going to go ahead and put all this shit out here, right? And before I go any further, because we're definitely going to deep dive into these questions, I want to salute all the activity that has been put out in the West this week. And in particular, I got to salute G Will. He created a list for Westworld, and I haven't seen that much battle rap conversation, and I don't know how much time. Clarification, what do you consider West business? Great question. West business meaning what battles have impact, what leagues have impact, what somebody's stock is as it pertains to relevance in battle rap on the West region, business in terms of booking, business in terms of not even just booking, who should be booked and who should not be booked, West business as it pertains to what leagues should be brought up in terms of who has relevance, what leagues can facilitate a battle with 2 people where those 2 people are actively having a battle that is going to have impact. Example, where everybody unanimously says Westworld is the #1 league, right? Everybody kind of has been unanimous on that. Okay, well, who's number 2? Who's number 3? Who should have an opinion to be able to say, well, I think, use an example, I think Casual Conflicts, or I think I Evolve, I think Toys, I think Grizz Exam, I think Level. Who should be able to have the opinion to talk to the other side, the people of Essence in their regions, to tell them what matters over here? So anything, basically, to sum it up, anything pertaining to the West of tangible impact. The stuff that's not tangible, I don't really. Who's trash? Who's, I don't care. No, we're talking about tangibles. So something that has a tangible impact to here, right? We're talking about creating lists. When we're talking about creating dialogue, right? We have to identify who is creating the dialogue for the betterment of the West, who is creating dialogue to better themselves. And if they are creating the dialogue to better themselves, which self-promotion is great, are they qualified to be in a space where it is occupied by the members of the West of Essence? You know what I'm saying? Should they be in there? So, an example, on our space on Thursday that Luck E held, shout out to Luck E, he said, well, he didn't say, he had Dapper Zay, Gutta, and I think Dre Del Rey was in there. I think somebody else was in there, right? These are our newcomers over here in the West, right? But you also have Dev, you also have Yak, you also have G Will. I seen Keith pulled. I don't know if Keith said too many words, but Keith was in there. Fate was in there. I was in there. So who out of that group do you feel like should be the representation for what we are doing here? Who should have the most say so? And does what they do in their battle rap, if they're a battler, does what they do in their battle rap career, does that matter to them having an opinion? So can they have lost their last few battles? Could they have not been impressive in their last few battles, but pull up to a space of essence when you have the Doc Rose, the Kells, and you have the Jack Boys, or whoever's in there of essence who has a name, who is the right, a professional in the battle rap world? Should they be able to talk about it, or should it just be the battle rappers who are cooking? Should it just be the battle rappers who have made a name for themselves and are cooking? Same thing with media. Am I qualified? Should I be in there talking about it? Or should it be somebody else in media who maybe gets more views? Maybe they're doing more, maybe they're more consistent. How do you view that? League owners. Should it be the league owners talking that have built a legacy here, have put on consistently for years here? Should it just be the people who are in the top 3 leagues or top 5 leagues? That's what when we're talking about West business, that's what I mean by who should have the opinion on it. It goes hand in hand. It's West business where we're talking about the topics, but then it's also who should be having those conversations. I know I'm over talking. I'm trying to put everything out. I said, given your definition currently, yes, these discussions will happen in comment sections, or it will be a speculation conversation by people who speak about it. Okay. Again, and again, I'm going to try to clarify this as much as possible. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to watch this and say he's full of shit. Don't listen to that. He was bullshitting. He said all this shit, but he didn't do X, Y, and Z, or he didn't talk about X, Y, and Z. Please do that so we can have further conversations. Because I know I might miss something. I know I might say something that might be controversial, or it might not be controversial. Nigga just might be like, hey, that's the truth. Whatever it is, we here for the dialogue. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm here to do. So to get into the conversation, let's go to question 1. Should we be discussing West business in front of the masses on Spaces? So the other day we were having a conversation about newer battlers, who's actually in a position to be getting booked. Is there politics? How do politics play a part over here? Should certain people get booked strictly because of their name, strictly because of their last performance? Who is evaluating said performances? Who are we going to elevate to the realm of your opinion matters, but this person might not? What does that look like, right? So just to answer the base question, should we be discussing West business in front of the masses on Spaces? My initial gut reaction is no. My initial gut reaction, don't give me no time, gun to your head, you just got to say something. My answer is no. My rationale for that gut reaction is I don't see the benefit of having conversations in front of those who are actively competing against us. I think that having battle rap conversations where it's just standard, oh, you did this in this battle, or I'm trying to get this performance, or I'm trying to get this. Cool, you can have those kind of conversations. Okay, this person wants to battle this person. Okay, cool. But when we're talking about stuff that's literally for the improvement of our region, there was a time period where we never did that. Actually, no region ever did that. Ever. Now, I was told that every other region has started doing that in Spaces. They have their own spaces, they have their own conversations amongst the matches, which is good for them. But we have proof of concept where our conversations amongst us, our conversations amongst the hierarchy, the people who have been putting on for a period of time, who have actually brought something tangible to the region, you know what I'm saying? We have proof of concept that our own conversations within our own area, whether it's Western Conference Lives, whether it's Discord, whether it was Blog Talk back in the day, whether it's live streaming on YouTube, whether it's podcasts outside, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, then where it happens, we have proof of concept. How do I know that we've had proof of concept? Because there was a time period where it was unanimous the West runs battle rap. That was unanimous. And that was at a period of time where everything was at home. The last 3 to 4 years is where the shift started happening to bring it outside of the West and bring the other side in even more. And every year it keeps being more and more and more and more of that, where we're putting more of ourselves onto the spaces. But I don't know. My gut reaction was, I don't know if I see the tangible impact in it. That's gut reaction. Thinking about it after some time, having a conversation with League, Dev, people over there on the spaces, hearing different perspectives, I do see the impact it can have in a positive light. But, and it goes into the second question, so I'm gonna try and stay with the first one. He said it wasn't a bad answer about what the business is. I disagree. I think the business is just as much as of the culture because other regions discuss these things as well. As cliche as this sounds, future leaders of our region will not be in those insular conversations. They will need to learn how the system works in the eyes of everyone until they are invited. I can understand that. Learn the game that everybody else is playing that currently has them ranked higher than us. Learn the game so we can utilize it for our own progress. I agree. What I will say is people don't know what they want or what is going to be valid until you show them that that's what they want. We can say we don't want to be we don't want the old west system of just battling. Our events are just west versus west and we're just battling each other and we're just having our content just west versus west. We want to include the other side because the other side does this as well. But proof of concept shows when we were doing west versus west and we were putting an emphasis on building our own talent and having our own media, our own dialogue, it worked. Now, maybe battle rap has changed. And to your point, maybe it has changed. Maybe there's a new system. The game changes all the time. So it's very valid to say the game has changed in a way where now we need to have a new type of system to be able to get through customs, to be able to promote ourselves, to be able to maneuver in this type of battle rap world that we're in today. That is 100% valid. Where I would say that for me personally, it depends on what West business is being discussed when it's being discussed. I still believe certain topics should never make it to the other side. Should never make it to the other side. When this is an extreme example, but when countries or people are going to war, this general isn't going over to the other side's general and saying, "Hey, this is what we on. We're going to discuss our game plan while y'all are watching, so you know what." I think stuff like that, as it pertains to how we are trying to move with our leagues, how we are trying to move with our battles, how we are trying to strategically move certain battles and where we place these. I think stuff like that needs to stay home. I don't think that means that that's not for the other side to even have anything about. What they should see is just the progress. I think they should just see the final product. I think there are some conversations that need to be here at home. And then there's other things that we can have open dialogue. But the problem with having open dialogue, and see, it has to jump with who's qualified, is when we're having this open dialogue, I think it hurts us that we have certain people talking about it that do not either have the right intentions for the conversation, do not have the right amount of work to be qualified to have a real opinion on it, or, quite frankly, dare I say, people of a very specific variety, a very particular variety, should not even be brought up to speak. People used to get on me back in the day when I had blog talk. They're like, "Nico, why you just let everybody in their mom? You let everybody pull up to the show and everybody can talk. This person can talk to Geechee. This nigga can talk to Gotti. This nigga can talk to Nitty. This nigga can talk. Why you just let anybody up here, bro? You gotta do some work to be qualified to pull up and have conversations with people." And I used to always say, "Well, man, I don't know, man. I think having a conversation good. You know, they might be able to hear something and be able to talk, and maybe it does." But I do agree that some people just you gotta X them out the game. We gonna we. Whew. Would you agree that some events have been birthed from the energy and interest that is cultivated in those space discussions? Spaces offer a medium for narrative to grow now. Yes, the second part of that, the about the narrative, I agree. But how that narrative is created and whom is creating that narrative is very, very impactful to hear. And as we found out on Thursday, having the wrong people pulling up and being put as a feature speaker, like they are being featured to have this dialogue. And when you start cross-examining what their intentions are, where they are with battle rap, it does much more harm than good. Much more. The first part of that, would you agree that some events have been birthed from the energy and interest cultivated in those spaces discussions? I think battles have. I think battles have been cultivated from those discussions. Yes, the same way battles have been cultivated from Discord discussions. We've had people get booked over here from the quote unquote other side of the map that never even talked about it in spaces until it happened in Discord or until it happened in our Western Conference group. So I think that is 100% accurate that there have been certain matchups that have been created based on those discussions as they have been here. So yeah, in that space of okay, if you get Dev arguing with I don't know Los Preen randomly in a space and they say, oh, we want to battle, oh, that's major, I'll bring it to the West. Oh, that's a good, yeah, that something like that. Yes. Yes. The problem with that is some of that energy and interest that's birthed in the spaces is created by those who are not qualified. And they will birth bullshit to try and further their own agenda. And it ends up making us look weak. I'm not going to lie to you. There were times on Thursday evening in that space where the Western Conference, the West region as a whole, looked hella weak. We looked hella weak in that space at certain times. And I don't think anybody intended on it to be, oh, we look that. I don't think it was intended, but that's the end game of it. Is what happened. And I'm not saying the entirety of the space, but there were surely moments where it's like, what the fuck is going on? And I think we need much less of that. And I think if we actually paid attention and actually put a structure in place to go ahead and push that, I think we'd be in a much better place. So that's the first question. I don't want to spend 30 minutes on the first question. But the second question is, how is Spaces best used for West Progress? Spaces to me is best used for West Progress as a promotional tool. So perhaps we need to also hear your thoughts on what are the characteristics of a qualified individual. When I get to the last question, we're gonna discuss that. We are gonna discuss that. And if you are watching right now, again, I appreciate y'all being here. If you haven't hit the like, please hit the like for your boy. Helps the algorithm. I think this is an important dialogue that I would like to have more dialogue with more people. So hit the like if you haven't already. But the characteristics. Your online presence should never supersede your work in battle rap. That is the number one rule. Your online presence should never supersede your actual work in the culture. Never. You can't be talking about spaces you never in. Ah, my brother Les, he couldn't help himself. Couldn't help himself. Hey, what time is it over there? It's almost midnight over there. It's late. You just pull up at 11:15. My 11:16. Outrageous. To build the storyline and sell the fight is what the spaces should be used for. I agree, 100%. 100%. But the characteristics, what I mean by your online profile should never supersede your work. You can be a very popular person. So obviously, we name all the top tiers we can name. Obviously, the Rum Nitties are popular. You know what I'm saying? The Loaded Luxes, the Mooks, and all those people are twerk. All the usual suspects. Jade and I, all popular, very popular. Chef Trez's, the A Wars, all anybody you can name. But they've actually done tangible work in the ring, tangible work for the culture, whether it's their battling, whether it's their booking, whether it's their coverage, whether it's their support, whatever it is, they have added something of tangible value to the culture. So they are qualified. So if their online profile is way up here, their work ain't that far behind. You can look at their work and say, okay, this person has done this, he's done this, he's done this, he's done this. Okay, cool. He's qualified. He is qualified. But you should never be in a situation where online profile on Spaces is here and your work is here. It should never get like that. An easy example to use for that is Soto. Soto went over there and made himself a star on Spaces. Twitter loves Soto. We know his work has been subpar, and he didn't really do anything in battle rap. Had all the potential, didn't really do anything. Not shooting at him, not trying to cause any disruptions. We're just gonna call it what it is. We're just gonna say that's an example. You should never have that. I feel like, in a way, because of how spaces have been so inclusive, because of how much they have been there, there are certain ones, some of our newer battle rappers who have not done enough to be in there having those type of dialogues or putting those opinions out there to the masses. Because now it looks like they speak for us because their profile to the outside world is we know them. Versus they might not know somebody else over here who strictly just stays west, battles over here, books over here, but has done way more, has a way more informed opinion about business, booking, development, anything, skill set, anything. They have way more to say, but their name, quote unquote, in the culture is not of that high variety. But this person who has minimal work and hasn't done anything, and as of late hasn't even had enough to say, you know what I'm saying? They should, you know what I'm saying? That's an example. All right. Do you think our Discord discussions are more productive or distinct than our spaces discussions on the West? Yes. I also think that we've had, and just being honest, we've had a shit show in Discord before. Many a time we've had shit shows where it ends up in multiple arguments, the point being lost, the plot being lost, as this new generation is saying. So there's been a lot that's happened in spaces that not spaces, but in Discord where I'm like, damn, that wasn't productive. We just got in here arguing. We didn't even get the final point. Niggas is leaving. Niggas is mad. But the difference is with Discord is that stays in home. It's like if you got into a fight with your family members, you don't want that broadcast all over the internet because this is something you might argue with your brother, you might argue with your sister, you might have a disagreement with your parents, your grandparents, your homies, you might have a disagreement. That doesn't need to be broadcast all over the internet. So when we have our own at-home discussions on Discord, it stays in Discord. That doesn't make it out to the outside world where it can make us look like there's more issues than what there really is. That's the difference. And that's the benefit of having in-home discussions is we get to regulate what gets out to the outside world. So the stuff that finally gets out after all that yelling, after all that other niggatry going on, the final product is we get to choose what the other side gets to see from us. You get what I'm saying? They can't be given information to go ahead and be used against us. That should never happen. But yes, I do think there a balance needs to be had, which is one of the questions we're going to get to, right? So, question number two answered it. I think it should be a promotional tool. It should be used to go ahead and benefit people who, let's say you have a battle coming up or you just booked a battle and you want to promote the fact that you have a flyer out there. Oh, there's a spaces day where they're having battles. Battle over there. Promote yourself. That's a promotional tool. I want to pull up to the spaces and have conversations with my friends. Use it to promote self. Use it to promote the West. Use it. Maybe you might not have anything going on, but maybe you might have enough of a voice over there where you might be able to alley oop somebody else who may not be over there, but they could benefit from you speaking on their work. All right. I think that's where it should be used at. Let's see. Let me justify what's good. What you said. How do you feel about Appa and Eunice basically being the anomalies, breaking the space battler stigma? I think it's amazing what they're doing. First of all, let me just say that right there. I think that's amazing because as somebody who pulled up to the spaces very early when it first started, and I remember them being in spaces before they were battling. I remember them. So to see where they're at now, I think that's amazing, right? What I will say is they're the anomalies because they work way more. Pause if necessary. They work harder. The work ethic for them is out unmatched compared to the other people who are on spaces. You can tell they are actively working on their craft every single time they've gotten an opportunity. You can tell that they are tedious in the craft and making sure everything that goes into the craft is, you can tell that they have a different level of hunger and a different level of desire to make it. So them being the anomalies is because if you want to be the exception to the rule, you got to be exceptional. And how can you be exceptional if you don't do the work? There are a lot of people who will go on spaces just as much as them, but they won't work as hard as what they're doing. So somebody, not you, not anybody here, but somebody might see them, oh, well, Eunice battling Nitty and he's battling this person. He's just a space nigga. That nigga has worked his ass off to get there. So them being the anomalies, I fuck with it. And I think that that is powerful because now there are other people who are saying that is a lane to be able to make it into battle rap. And there are people that I know of who I've seen spaces battles are impactful. And I don't think that I would ever say that they're not. I just think that for people who already have an established progress, meaning that you started battling here, it's different if that was your introduction, right? It's different if you were just one of the homies, you pull up to the spaces, and all of a sudden you start battling in the spaces, and that's your where you started, and then you okay, that's different, right? But if you started battling here and your progress has already been established here, going over there should just be I'm just trying to promote self, promote brand, promote West, right? Just use a promotional tool. Use it as something that can further yourself and the West. That's it. Now, if you become the anomaly yourself, where now you go over there, you get an online profile that's way up here. When you start battling and it looks like this, your battles are here. You work to even it up, right? Don't just rest on the fact that I got this Twitter. I'm popular here. I can rest. No, you got this here. That means you need to be on it. You need to be on fire. You ain't getting popular on Twitter should tell you your career ain't moving. You should I need movement. I need constantly. You even if you had a 30 the nigga best performance, everybody talking about you. I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied. That's like a nigga in the NBA. Man, you just scored 50, bro, on the best defender in the league. How you feel? I missed 10 shots. I should have scored 60. I'm not happy with just 50. I'm not happy with scoring just 50 sound good to somebody. Man, I ain't never played, or another nigga who never scored it. Man, that's great. To another, I am not satisfied. I am not, I didn't max out what I could have maxed out. You gotta have that type of hunger, that type of mentality. That is where I feel like with spaces, you need that mentality and use that mentality when you're in there to maximize your career. You need that. That is why Eunice and Appa have made it to where they made it to. And that's also the reason why others don't, because they don't have that same type of hunger. They don't have that same type of drive. Yes, has different skill sets. Everybody has different abilities, right? We all start in different places. This is trial and error. You battle once, your second battle, you should be better than your first battle. If you're not, you did something wrong. Go back to the drawing board, figure it out, and pull up in your third battle, much improved from your first battle and much improved from your second. Trial and error. It's not difficult. It's difficult if you're lazy. It's difficult if you don't really like this. It's difficult if you don't really care. But if you care about how you're viewed by the masses, if you care about how your craft is with yourself, if you care, you're never going to be satisfied. Man, there's people, listen, bro, you got to be to the point where, Nico, I'm main eventing Summer Madness this weekend. I'm not even satisfied with that, Nico. I need the main event Gnome. I need the main event Summer Madness. I need the main event Max Out. I need number one champion of the year. I need that 10K to come with it. The belt. I need everything. I need everything. That's the mentality. Let me see. I might have been missing some commentary. Let me see here. Would you say that our spaces need to have ground rules for yes, yes, and more yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, and more yes. I said one of the ground rules earlier about qualifications. Hey, if you guys haven't already, please hit the like for your boy. Please hit the like for your boy. Yes, yes, and more yes. There need to be ground rules. Ground rule number one: if you ain't a nigga over here, or if you ain't somebody of essence over here in the West, if you ain't somebody who puts in consistent work, if you're somebody who's choking all the time, you're somebody who stumbles all the time, you're somebody who no shows all the time, you're somebody who never progresses every single time, if you're somebody who 3 years later we're saying, man, he's still got a lot of potential, and you're in the same place you were when you first started, you are not qualified to talk. No conversation should be had by you. Hold it down. Yes. Ground rule number one. You need to have the qualifications to talk this West shit. Nothing else will do. Nothing. Nothing. I don't give a damn what somebody says. If you don't got the right qualifications, you should be banned from talking. Listen, sit in there and get the game. Soak some of this game up real quick. Listen and better yourself so that maybe when we have this discussion in the future, you can be a part of it. But right now, you ain't in the bracket of qualifying. So hold it down. Absolutely. Question number three. I think we spent enough time on question number two. Question number three. Is the West too dependent on the other side for battles and relevance? This is one that I would love to have an open discussion with people because I do think that there is an imbalance right now with how the West is with quote unquote the other side and other regions. I think that we are doing everything that the other sides are doing because it has shown that it's successful. But I do think that there is an imbalance of we're just going to do what we see everybody else doing versus our proof of concept here in the West that we did for over a decade that had us number one in the culture when we did things our way and how shit was done over here, whether it was A-Hat, LA Battlegrounds, the riot when it was first here, shots fired, West Coast Elites, Westworld, PNR, free game, whatever league, casual conflicts, I Evolve, Punchline Kings, any league you want to mention, the cookout, any league you want to mention, any of them, body bag, battle league, anything you want to mention. We have proof of concept doing it one way. And now I think it is an imbalance right now of doing things the other way. All right. Speaking without all inside information. Okay, I'll wait on that next comment. But yeah, I believe that. Yes, absolutely. We need more of a balance. I think that, and I use this example a lot. Dev versus Clutch meant so much because they had built their names up here. They didn't have to build their name up outside of here to make those two a battle here. Clutch battled over here. He's always battled here. He made himself a name here. And anytime that he battled anybody, it was a battle to see, especially a person like Dev, who at the time he was the new guy. He was supposed to be the next guy. So it meant a lot. Demons versus Death Certificate. It meant a lot. There was bragging rights there. There was a lot of wars there, a lot of competitive energy there. Our own work here that did not involve the other side made that a battle that when it was live streamed, the numbers of people in there watching the battles was on point. It showed that this was an impactful battle. It also showed based on who was judging this battle and who was like, man, is that angle accurate? Man, he was saying this. I don't know about it, but man, that's power based on our own work here. Right. And I'm not saying Dev didn't have work outside of here. He did. However, he made his name and the bulk of his work was done here. Right. On the flip side of that, it was brought up to me by Mad Leak. Shout out to my bro Leak. He said, well, that was also at a time, Nico, where if you had an event, you were the only event for that weekend. So everybody had no choice but to go ahead and watch it. Granted, now 5, 6 events going on. Granted, guess what? The proof of concept that I'm talking about, what do you think every single region started doing? While we were the number one region and while we were starting to get those looks everywhere else and we're starting to, what do you think they were doing? What do you think We Go Hard did? What do you think OSBL did? What do you think Spit That Heat did? What do you think all these places that ended up being a primary top of the line location for battle? What do you think they were doing? They were doing the same thing that we used to do, that we prioritized. They were doing the same thing, right? So speaking without all inside info, the West in my time has not always been a fan of social media promotion. That's a fact. The memes, the diss tracks, the call outs, the lives. The first half of that, I do agree. I do think that there has been a little bit of what's the right word to use? I think there's been a little, is it trepidation? I don't want to say anything like people being scary, but I think it was a little mixture of everything. I think that we definitely had a lot of room to improve with social media promotion, social media growth, the tangibles with that. You said are less prevalent now. I will say that right now it is at an all-time low within the West for our own promotion, our own lives, our own energy that we created. It's now gone to spaces. That's where it breathes. That's where it lives at now. I think that those of us who, myself being in media, other people who were vocal a lot more in years past, a lot of people have fallen back and they haven't been doing as much. And I think we all have to take accountability and we all have to start stepping back up to that plate and making sure that we're adding to the culture, creating those discussions, having this type of dialogue so that we can further things over here in the West, right? We need some of that, and we need to be applauding those when they do it. Like Dre Del Rey when he was making the diss tracks, I applaud that. There were some people who are like, man, I don't know, this is whack. I don't know if I like this. He's bringing an energy that was dormant for I don't know how many years. You better salute that shit. That's needed. You need that energy. You need niggas talking shit and trolling. And I'm not joining your crew. I'm staying where I'm at. Fuck all y'all. I want to smoke with everybody. You need that right now. That is a major thing that's lacking right now is competition here majorly. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And that's a whole nother live discussion. Other regions are so largely populated that promo goes farther. Cali is a huge place. It's not centralized to a city or two. We all have small communities that need us all to promote to them ourselves. Yes, absolutely. But California isn't just the only thing. See, Western Conference is everywhere. The Mets, you know what I'm saying? New Mexico, Nevada, Arizona, Cali, Oregon, Washington, you know what I'm saying? Colorado. Well, I know I'm missing Utah. And Idaho got added. Somebody from Idaho, they added themselves. Idaho part of this shit too. All right. Northwest, shout out to them. But it's not just Cali. And I think that's another problem too, is that it became too much about just California. That's the hub. That's where this shit, that's the mecca. But that's not all we need. I said this 3-4 years ago when people were starting to pull up from AZ. We need y'all are the new people to start pushing the line. New Mexico battle rap, Arizona battle rap, Nevada battle. Y'all are the ones. We need y'all to start pushing this line because there is not enough people. We need y'all to push the line. Northwest, we need y'all to push this line because a lot of California battle rappers, the ones who are prominent, they're starting to fall back. They're starting not to retire, but they're starting not to battle as much. We need these other places that weren't getting talked about as much and weren't really having much out there. We need y'all to be there. So when we start having these discussions, the biggest best part of this whole entire West shit was when it was Barcode Mafia, Death Certificate, Crack City, Demons, Trade, Regular, Cali Beans when they was around. When you had all these different people representing their own shit, it brought the most competitive time period. The shots fired, the Dago side. It was the society. It was the most competitive time over here because everybody was hungry, everybody was fighting, everybody was trying to get something out of this shit. And they was representing where they were at. They weren't all joining one group. Like I hear a lot of people now saying, "Man, Nico, everybody joining free game, man. This is bad, man. We got Grizz done join, Migs done join, man. They're getting everybody, even giving people from out of there, man. They just what's going on?" And to a point, I do agree. I didn't agree with somebody like Grizz going over there. He didn't already build his career. He trade, he borrowed code. Stay where you at. But then on the flip side of that, Migs, same thing. Migs, you AZ. Why doesn't AZ get together? Jalopy Bungus, Migs, all y'all over there AZ. Y'all stick together and go at everybody else. But it's also a different time. And that's something else I found out over time and even having this discussion in spaces. This is the friendliest era of battle rap we've ever been in. That era where people pulled up and we didn't want to shake your hand. We didn't want to be cool. We're not fraternizing. We're gonna battle first, and then we'll see what type of man you are. I'll battle you first. I'm gonna talk my shit to you. Then we're gonna get into all that other shit. But I'm not being cool. We not. I'm not getting cool with you to the point where I can't battle you and all this. The bro, I'm not gonna battle. This is a different era. Now it's like how NBA basketball is. How they say, man, back in our day, we would have never talked to this person, and we was going at them, and we didn't care who. Well, now these people are having games with each other. They're playing against each other from the age of 8 years old. By the time they get to the NBA in their early 20s, you know what I'm saying? They've been friends for 15 years. 10, you know what I'm saying? That's what this shit is becoming. People are so friendly now and become so friend now where the competition get lost. So it's a different era. So it calls for a new type of a new type of structure, a new type of drive, a new type of hunger, a new type of narrative to be created. That's why I was so adamant about all the other states outside of Cali. We need y'all to start pushing your individual line. So Levels, Vegas, pushing their line the way they're doing, love it. Push that shit. Push your narrative. Yeah, I'm bringing that back. Push your narrative. We need that. Don't do what everybody. Hold it down where you at and make that shit powerful. Love that shit. That's what we need. We get more of that. We get more of that happening. I promise you, this should get back to a place where we once were. I promise you, it will. And even with looking at free game, to me, I salute what free game doing because on one hand, yes, when it comes to just West grassroots, you look at it, man, they adding all these people. But then on the other side, free game has made themselves more than just a grassroots crew. They're not just, oh, the West crew. No, free game is now something that the whole battle rap culture is now aware of. So I look at them more like a dot mob. I look at them more like a team Hami. I look at them more like that's what they are becoming. The same way like the Riot at one time was a West Coast grassroots league. They built themselves up to being a league that now is not it's not West. Now they have developed themselves to a different place. So that's what I see with free game. So on one hand, where I can agree, and I've definitely had those same opinions about it, I also can see the other side of it. They have developed themselves into something that is not just here. Now they have a presence everywhere. So I understand why you would add the people you're adding and make your conglomerate that much stronger. I get it. I understand it. So it's both sides. One, I don't want to see it. Then the other side is I get it. You know what I'm saying? But it's nuance. You gotta. This is why I think you doing power rankings is so important. Numbers are the only thing I think can create competition and be unaffected by the friendliness of new era. Power rankings. I did make this announcement on Spaces, so I guess I did make it here. I made it on Spaces like 2 weeks ago. There is an active power ranking that I've been working on. So there is one that's active right now. We're almost halfway through the year, so I probably will be dropping it at some point this month. I'm just trying to make sure I have all the battles because last year I dropped the power rankings and then I missed like 5, 6 battles, and people like, oh, this doesn't count. You don't have this battle. You have this battle. Oh, this battle dropped 3 hours ago. You don't have this. So I'm trying to do my due diligence. I'm probably still gonna fuck up and not have every single battle, which will help me out. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what I missed. Tell me what I didn't see. Send me the fucking live stream or whatever the fuck that you think I missed. Help me out. Because it took a lot of work to even try and figure this shit out. But the power rankings are back. They are in full effect. So that's there. Power rankings will be back outside very soon. I have it's on my phone. I'm recording on my phone, so I can't show you my. It is there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. What is the appropriate balance of West versus West and West versus everyone else? So that to me, I was meaning more of the battles. Then there's just other stuff, but you can include with other stuff as well. But West versus West, I think with battles, if I had to do we're doing like a pie chart, right? I think 75%, and that could be low and it could be higher to some other people. But I think 75 to 80% of that pie chart should be West versus West. I think that the fact that we haven't gotten certain fades with people who are all stars, people who are vets, the vets not giving newer people shots, or people not prioritizing it, or people not making it more of a necessity. The fact that we're in an era now where this is the most picking and choosing era in West Coast history when it comes to battles, and people not wanting to take certain battles because it's high risk, low reward, or I'm not going to get anything. Like just the fact that the competition and just battling just to shut somebody up and show them, no, I'm better than you, or somebody being able to have that breakout performance versus somebody that they probably, somebody said that they shouldn't get this battle, but they got it, and they either stood out and showed out like what Miggs did, or like when fucking De Niro back in the day when he had a really good performance. I think versus Coupe de Ville, people said he had a really good performance for where he was at. Right, he had a solid performance. They said, man, he should get a PG. Give him next. I said, don't give him next. I don't think he's ready. But you had to push him out there. He got next, got 30. Didn't really hear much, but you needed that shot to happen, right? You needed to have him in those type of battles to get that type of opportunity. You needed to see these things happen. I think it should be 75 to 20% West versus West. Then the other 20% battle everybody else. And that 20% should be reserved for big leagues, right? It should be not even just big leagues, big events. It should be reserved for shit when, okay, this event has impact. You see the booking of this event? No, this shit has impact. This is different. That's when I think we should start seeing that type of stuff, right? Um, I do believe that, there are times where somebody from another side might be powerful. And you might say, man, there really ain't nobody over here. That's when that 20% kicks in. But for the most part, I need to see the Keith versus Saint. I need to see the Hansel versus like Hansel versus Clutch, or Hansel versus Real Name, or Cali Smooth, or Cali Smooth versus Justice. I need to see these battles. I want to see Ratchet pull up and go and cook up versus a Kamikaze, or Lucky versus XP. I need to see these battles. Shy Dog. I want to see Shy Dog battle with Dre the Red. I just want to see people battling. I want to see these type of battles happen. I need to see this happen, right? It seems like now people are just kind of like, all right, my first couple years, I'll battle people in the West because that's all I can really get. But the moment I get any type of acclaim, I ain't battling nobody up over here. Man, I ain't doing that, bro. I ain't gonna take that battle because man, you know what? This person said he'll battle me over here. I ain't fucking with y'all. I'm gonna wait on this shit up. I think that's fucking a lot of shit up here. Sometimes it can be good, but sometimes it's bad, and that's where the balance comes in. So I think 75 to 80% West versus West, 20%, 20 to 25%, 20 to 25% should be the other shit. And that should be where it matters. This matters for you. Like Hansel and Swervo, that's a battle that mattered in all of battle rap. That's a perfect example of somebody getting that kind of battle. Just what Westworld just did with the last one, Loso versus Miggs. That matters. You did enough work. You established yourself. You've battled enough of the names here. You got this matchup. Now, I need to still see Hansel double back and battle people out west. I still need to see Miggs double back and battle people out. I still need to see those battles. Miggs versus Keith. I need to see this. I need to see these battles. I need to. Fate versus Hansel. I gotta see it. I have to see these battles. No reason why they shouldn't be happening. I have to see these battles. Gotta see these battles. Real Name Brandon versus Just. I need to see these battles. Luck E. Man, why don't Luck E go ahead and battle somebody like fucking Hansel? Or, you know what I'm saying? Why don't he go ahead and battle somebody like Clutch? I need to see people work. If you're getting enough progress and you have forward momentum, start giving these niggas battles. West versus West. Build our shit back. Make our content that much more powerful. All right? What is the appropriate balance of West versus West? I think, okay, I already covered that. So the last one is, who is qualified to be talking West business to the other side? We talked about that already, right? You got to have tangible work over here, right? If you're a battle rapper, you got to have forward progress. Got to be moving in the right direction. Can't be somebody who just got smoked in your last battle and you didn't really have any work prior to that, right? You can't be somebody who always chokes in every single battle and you don't really have anything to say. Well, he be choking, but man, he got star potential. Like, you ain't got that going on, bro. Just go ahead and sit down, bro. Like, you can have an opinion, but this might not be the time where you need to be voicing that, bro. And the people who are putting these spaces together and these discussions together, you should be able to um manage and understand who needs to be speaking and who doesn't. You need to be able to screen the clients when they pull up. You understand what I'm saying? You should be able to screen the clients when they pull up like that. You know what I'm saying? I bad. I had to take a water break, man. We've been talking for an hour straight. I needed some water. I need some water. But yeah, those are the 5 questions. I know there's so much more stuff I could say. I appreciate y'all who have been, you know what I'm saying, chilling with your boy. But those were the 5 questions. There are more questions that I could ask and more things that I could break down. I'm pretty sure as this goes ahead and circulates and people get a chance to go ahead and see it, or somebody brings something up or disagrees with something I said, we can have further dialogue. But those were just a few questions that I jotted down where I was like, okay, here are some things that I think we need to discuss and need to have out there. So repeat the question we're on. Well, the last question that we're on is who is qualified to be talking about West business to the other side. We kind of already went over that in terms of what your qualifications are, what that kind of person looks like, what that would look like in battle rap, right? So pretty much went through all of them. The next thing I know it said Old West versus New West, but I kind of want to get straight to this point here because I think that this is a good point to kind of get to. List. Like I said, shout out to G Will. He brought up the list with the top 10 contenders for belts and all that with Westworld. That's dope. Pretty sure we'll hear more about that in the future. I'm not going over that. I'm focusing on All Stars. Right? Focusing on All Stars. Right? Uh oh. Uh oh. Did I do something wrong? I might have. All right. I don't know if I did. I don't know if I did or not, but if I did, my bad. I don't know. I think I might have fucked him up messing with this damn phone. Trying to make sure it's right. All right, fuck it. We're gonna have to deal with it how we deal with it, man. But I want to have a series, a list that I want to drop where it defines all the vets, the vets that you should be battling, the vets who will give you a tangible upgrade in competition. Okay, you can still hear me, still see me. That's what's up. Cool, cool, cool. We do customs with that. But I want to create like the new list. Like, okay, who's on the cusp? Who are the new people that we should be getting battles? I want to start creating lists more often. I used to do that a lot, you know what I'm saying, at one time. So I want to get back into doing that. So this was just the one I did real quick because I feel like the all-star list gets talked about so much amongst that class. And we want to say who are all-stars. So every year, NBA all-star game, 12 people in the West, 12 people in the East. So I just got 12 names. We doing 12. I'm just doing 12. Right? And then I have an inactive list, an inactive or slash on the cusp. So if you're a person who is of the all-star caliber, but you're not active, you will be on that side, right? And this is from last year into the first 5 months of this year, right? Our first 4 months and some change of this year. We're not even in June yet. So the first 4 months and some change going into this year, right? So active all stars. These are the 12 people that I would say right now represent the Western Conference as active all stars, the professional tier in battle rap, right? They go anywhere. They're not the top tier. So this is not going to feature rum nitties and coffee and people of Jay tonight with the people who are making Wody of the Year and Cody and all that. We're not talking about top tiers. We're not talking about the thesauruses. We're talking about the people here, the grassroots people who have been over here putting in their work and have become the professional tier. So this as follows. These are the 12, right? In no particular order. Let me make sure I say this. Look at that in this camera. Right here. Right here. This is not in a particular order. I did not write this with 1, 2, 3. I did not write this like that. I didn't. I just wrote down a gang of names. I wrote down a list of 20, what was it, 25 or 26 names. I just wrote down a list of names. And I said, okay, well, this is kind of easy. All star, all star, all star. Kind of on the cusp. You ain't all star yet, but you on the cusp. Okay, we'll put you over there. That's the list I made. All right. Now there are people who have been inactive. We're gonna be like, Nico, come on, bruh. This person been inactive. They ain't been around like that. Come on, Nico, bruh. Don't put them out there, bruh. Come on, man. What you doing? I get it. And I'll have the newer list as well, like the new West battle rap. I'll have that as well. But for right now, active all stars. Right now, actively, they are still and should be considered an all-star. Next, Grizz, Justice, Hansel, Miggs, Dev, Saint, Clutch, Active, Real Name, Keese, Fate. Those 12, I think, right now, between their work, their catalog of what they did from last year going into this year, the kind of battles that they had in terms of their battling, their impact of the battles, who they battled in that time period, view count, all of that, everything that goes into your resume from last year into this year, I think those go into that without question. Where you're battling at, right? Where you're battling at matters. Consistency, performance, material. How consistent are you, right? What do you do in your biggest battles? It also counts against them win and loss. I did include win loss. So there are people here that are going to be on the cuss list that are like, man, I got more wins than this other person. Granted, granted. But there's a reason why when you say 12, normally when you have 12 All-Stars in the West, 12 in the East, normally like that last name or the last two names, you kind of like, we can have a discussion. We can have a discussion, right? So, active All-Stars, no order. Active All-Stars. Next, Grizz, Hansel, Justice, Miggs, Dev, Saint, Clutch, Keys, Fake, Active, Real Name. On the cusp, meaning 2 or 3 hot, they're on the cusp. So they can kick one of these niggas off the list. They can very well kick somebody off the list. Get the fuck out of here. You off the list. XP, Madman Leak, Dre Vicious. He's been inactive, but he is of that variety. Cali Smooth. It hasn't been as active in terms of having a boatload of battles, but he is of that variety. Ratchet, L.I. Demir, G Will, Reese, RX, KO, Chico. Chico has had some activity, so we put him on the cuss list. And then added new are Lucky, Dre the Ray, Kamikaze on the cuss. These are people who have now put themselves in contention. If Lucky has another battle that's powerful, he gonna be knocking on that door to battle one of these all-stars by the end of the year to see if he gets on that next all-star team. Dre Del Rey, same thing. Kamikaze, same thing. They're right there. They are right there. 1 or 2 more powerful performances or just one elite performance, they might be up out of here, might start battling some of the people actively on that all-star list. All right. So that is what the list is now. Now, automatically, because I was looking at Cali Smooth, I said, okay, Cali Smooth, I think last year you battled Jerry West, I think Real Deal. I know this year you had the Marcosis he just did. So Cali Smooth could very well kick Keys, Fate, maybe even if you want to say maybe Real Name, he can kick one of them off the list. He can. He can definitely do that. I just put Keys and Fate there because they had way more activity. Way more activity. All right. And if we're talking about the kind of names that they did battle, maybe Fate, he could have an argument. I battled bigger names, but then we talk about the was it a bigger battle? You might have a name, but was it a bigger battle? You just get the name and it didn't really have an impact, it didn't really say anything. What was it? That also matters. All right. So I would say these are the active all-stars from my list that I think there is no conversation to be had. Locked in, 100% locked in, no questions asked. No questions asked. Next, Grizz, Justice, Hansel, Miggs, Dev, Saint, Clutch, Active, Real Name. Those 10, I have absolutely no problem, 100% lock it in. No problem. Lock that shit in. Now, I will also say this. Keys and Fate, I'm about 95% sure. The 5% is I haven't had any arguments with anybody. I haven't argued anybody about no list or anything. This is just me off the top of my head. Write some shit down, go live, and let's talk about it. Those two, I'm 95% sure based on work, based on everything that they've done in the last year and a half. I have no problems whatsoever. Those two to me, I'm 95% sure, but not 100. Not 100 because if you said Nico, well, Cali Smooth, I think Cali Smooth should have the argument over Keith Faith. Have the argument. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. I'm not going to tell you that you're tripping. I'm not going to tell you that you have lost it. I won't do that. Let's say somebody says, Nico, what about real name Brandon? Why is real name Brandon on there, Nico? All he had last year was T Top. He battled not T Top. He battled Bill Collector. Main event battle Bill Collector. Main event. Okay. And he also battled Snake Eyes. So he has 2 wins, one in a 1-runner, one in a 3-round battle. One was a 30, that's Snake Eyes, got Snake Eyes up out of there. And then he cleared Bill Collector main event. So you get 2 wins versus that level of competition where you are clearing that level of competition and you were already an all-star from the previous year. So that, to me, now, where real name will have where I'm like, okay, well, real name, you might be on the cusp again, activity level this year. If he's not that active this year, if he only has a battle this year, oh, he'll be right on the cusp and somebody else will get that slot. So somebody who has 2 battles, okay, active. He battled Dice last year. Clear win versus Dice, right? A lot of impact. That made its rounds around battle rap. People talked about that everywhere, right? He also battled Geechee Gotti. Arguably, that was battle of the year last year on the grassroots. That was arguably battle of the year, if not probably was battle of the year. Active versus Geechee Gotti. So, impact. A lot of impact. This year, battle next. Did lose. I say that. He did lose versus next. Right? So that counts. Right? So somebody said, well, Nico, he lost to next. Cool. He lost to the champ. Who either you say number 1 or number 2 because him and Grizz both got the whatever you want to say. That we gonna grade you on that as well. Who you lost to? And you didn't lose to somebody who was just some hidden. He didn't lose to somebody who was hella hidden. So count that. We are also going to apply that. They definitely take a knock with what you're doing, but I think you already had all-star status from the previous year. Then last year you added Dice and Geechee Gotti, a battle of the year for the grassroots, and then you added pretty much a cleared body bag over Dice. I know people don't say body bag a little too far. It's as clear gets. Still highly rewatchable battle, but it's about as clear is going to get. So that's powerful. In my opinion, that holds weight. Now, I might have missed some other battles for him as well. He might even have more battles than what I'm naming right now. But for right now, I think what did he battle? Did he battle Bread this year? He might have battled Bread. I think that might have been a battle as well. So that right there, that's where I'm at with it, right? So that's my 12. And on the cusp, I already named all them names. I would say the person with the greatest argument on the cusp right now, what are actually the 2 people, would be Cali Smooth and Leak. Cali Smooth and Leak have the greatest argument to say they should be active all-stars right now. And I think what Madman Leak did this year, clearing Mozzie, a 30 piece, I think that holds a lot of that holds a lot of impact. Now, I'm giving time for the rest of this list as this year progresses. We might have to move somebody off of the list and update this list, right? We might have to update the list. But I think Cali Smooth and Madman Leak have the best argument right now. Obviously, if Dre Vicious starts getting active, he'll have he battling Danny Myers. That man pull up and battle Danny Myers and cook up versus Danny, and he gets another battle this year where he cook up. Conversation gonna need to be had. All right. KO back outside. We gonna need to have a conversation. I know G Will and KO, they just took a judge loss, and everybody's saying Nico, it gotta count. It was a battle, it was judged, they lost, gotta count. I know. I get it. KO also 30K trick. He body bagged Bobby Lee last year. He has a lot. He done did a lot. G Will cleared Stings. Oh, it was mean what he did to Stings. Mean. So he's still there. We gonna be fair. Like I said, Luck E, to me, he might have the greatest argument of all of the newer battlers. So he's like 1 or 2 battles away from really, hey, I'm here now. He one or two more, and he Dre Del Rey, Kamikaze. He has great argument. One or two more impressive versus higher levels of. Hey, I need that. Hey, I need that spot, bro. You might have to. I need that spot. That's all I'm saying. Right? I think XP had a very, very strong case until he lost because he did. I think him and Gaddafi was a hell of a battle last year, so he had a lot of good momentum. This year, he started off the year not good, not good. You said the worst battlers by baseless, the worst battlers. Oh God, who is the worst battle rapper? I haven't even thought about the hiddens like that in some time. Who is the most hidden right now, bro? I need that. They've evolved. See, what y'all have to understand is as the game evolves every few years, you have to adapt and update the game. These hiddens, these are some very tricky because some of these hiddens, they hide in plain sight. You'll be standing right next to a hidden. Won't even know because people know him. They're shaking his hand, giving him that, reacting to material, and you're like, wait. That wasn't good. Wait. Am I tripping? That's good. They hide in plain sight. So you have to you have to have the right eye to see the hidden. To see what is hella hidden, you must have a very keen eye for deciphering what is the hidden character. You have to understand the hidden adapts. They find ways to blend in. They could be standing right next to somebody of essence, and you would think they are of essence, but you got to cross examine all narratives when they are talking. When they are back, you have to cross examine. So I don't know about words battlers. I have to reapproach that. All right, I have to reapproach that. But yeah, that's a basic workup of what that is going to look like. I am going to make the hierarchy of new West battle rappers. That'll be another list that I'll drop because this list as well. I'm going to drop this, as a graphic in the Western Conference and kind of let people know where I'm seeing it. This is my opinion. It's just my opinion. He says, "Oh man, all good, man, all good, man." But yeah, it's now, I will say this, and not just because you're here, but Devos, your name is getting brought up a lot recently, a lot, and I'm almost inclined to add you to this on the cusp list because the conversation about you, sir, there's a lot of conversation that it might not make it to Western Conference posts, but amongst people and your names got brought up a lot, so we might have to reevaluate and we may have to because yeah. Your name has been brought up a lot, sir. So yeah, neither here nor there. I digress. I think that's a good place to stop. This we've been going for an hour and a half. I don't know how long we've been doing this live for. I know it's late. Salute to y'all who have pulled up. Is there any questions y'all have for me? Anybody who's watching this live, is there anything you want to ask me? It doesn't have to be related to the shit I've been talking about. Is there anything you just have a question for me? I'll give a few minutes. Yeah, I'm saying if y'all have any questions, it could be anything. I don't care what it could be, non-battle rap related. Battle. I here for a few more minutes. We could chop it up. Y'all got any questions? Ask me. If you tell somebody else, hey, Nico, answer some bullshit, man. Ask your fucking bullshit ass question. Whatever it is, I'm here for a few more minutes. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I would say radio show tomorrow. I think about 7 p.m. tomorrow. About somewhere about 7 p.m., 7:30. I know I tried to do this live at 7:30, and I was late by 15. I was late. I couldn't get this shit right. Um, what did you hear about Gladiator School, if anything? I really want your opinions on how that all went down or was introduced to us. So I did not watch. I didn't get to see any of the battles, so mine was just hearsay. What I would say hearsay is you were impressive. I did hear that the judges, some were not of the battle rap variety, and that was a major problem for me because I need to know why these judges are picking what they're picking. And from what I understand, there were some judges that may not have been of that variety. And then there might have been judges who were, but just might not have had the same opinion as others. So I heard that slip ups cost a few people, definitely cost a few people. I also heard that in the building, the crowd situation was a lot different. So certain battles that probably should have waited, uh, the timing of what should have went, what shouldn't have went, what should have been. I think a lot of that got to have discussions about that as well. I would like to get Kali Smooth on the show. I have a conversation with him about it. But I did hear good things. I heard mixed reviews. I heard a little bit of everything. But what I will say is that from what happened at that event, your name was brought up a lot. Also, Justify. I don't know if Justify is still here, but Justify name was brought up as well. So you know what I'm saying. Salute to that. Uh, but yeah, Gladiator School. I'll definitely, as battles drop and everything, definitely want to do reviews and kind of see everything for myself. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with like the draft that they did with Westworld with the earn your keeps. I kind of want to watch those battles. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to watch them live and have people kind of see what I'm seeing and kind of be able to, see what I'm looking at. 'Cause I really want to break them down myself. I could just do a regular recap, write out everything, but I want to have like an interactive. Y'all see it. Might even do it in Discord. I might just watch it in Discord, like Wednesday. Get West to watch. Back going on Wednesdays. West to watch Wednesdays. Get that back cracking and just go on Discord with the battles and just watch it all of us at the same time and get everybody to just break the battle down round by round, see what we're seeing, see what we're not seeing, see if this person should have advanced. I'll probably start doing some of that in Discord. Um, so it's stuff like that. I think that's good. Yeah, now salute. I don't like I said, I don't have the feedback that I would have if I had watched. I didn't see anything. We there from what I understand, there was only one battle that was live streamed. I think it was Aaron. What's the dude name? Adam Myers, whatever his name is, Adam Myers. I think we battle Justify. Whoever Justify, but that's the only battle I think got live stream. I think everything else didn't get streamed, so I wouldn't even know until they drop the battles. Hopefully, they drop them in a timely fashion. But yeah, and the discussion that I did have, they will count on the power rankings when they drop. I will be adding wins and losses for those battles. I was trying to punch. For all I did. Nico did try to say this wasn't really battle rap, and they weren't even judging it by battle rap standards. Should I add it to the? I don't know if I should add it to the. I did. I was trying to play devil's advocate and punch out of adding. They said no, Nico. This is just it's finality. We need wins and losses. It will be added to the power rankings as battles are dropped, as they are dropped. Yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. I don't know if anybody else has any more questions. If not, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. I done taken up enough of y'all time. Appreciate everybody who been here. Again, if you are watching this live at any point, whether you're watching it live right now or the playback, hit the like for your boy. That like helps the algorithm. The algorithm pushes it out to the masses, lets people know there's something that you should pay attention to, something that you should watch. And I think that we had a good discussion here. Could have been a lot better. Good discussion nonetheless. So I think I'm gonna leave this live where it's at. Radio show tomorrow. Peel Your Cap Radio is back tomorrow. We will be in Discord tomorrow. So pull up. Appreciate everybody for the support. Appreciate everybody for being here. Like, share, comment, all that good shit. And yeah, man, I'll holler at y'all tomorrow, 7 p.m., 7:30, somewhere in there. I'm kind of waiting because there is something that I know that's out there that potentially could happen tomorrow. So I'm kind of a loose time, 7 to 7:30 in that range. And we will be having a whole bunch of conversation with everything that has happened. Probably maybe some of this, maybe even something else. There's a lot of discussions that have been had since that list got dropped in the top 10 contenders at Westworld. So there's a lot to talk about. Just in a general sense, there's a lot to talk about. All right. Neither here nor there. Appreciate y'all pulling up. As always, man, keep it battle rap. You know what I'm saying? Keep it battle rap. As my brother Ledge would say, keep it battle rap. As I say, keep it West. I'm up out of here. Appreciate y'all, man.